I wanted to share with you guys how I set up my Unity. As a complete noob, I think this is probably the best way that you can set Unity up. This helped a lot whenever it came to just overall everything, whenever it comes to just the Unity environment, the way that it's set up. So what I have on my screen now is the default view for Unity. Whenever you boot up Unity for the first time, you'll see something similar to this. It won't obviously have assets and stuff like that in it. However, this is kind of the basic layout. So I'm going to show you how I have mine set up now, and we're going to eventually end with how mine is set up. So the first thing, and one thing I want to mention that I actually like here is, so this is my sprite sheet right here. If I pop this arrow out, it shows you what I've selected from those sprites. That is one thing that I actually like from this view. So the first thing that I do is I come over here to the top right where it says default. I click this and I go 2x3. Now 2x3 does something weird, and don't click off the video yet. I know it's ugly, but we're gonna make it look a lot better. Two things that I like. The first thing is that you have your actual scene, and then you have the game, like what people are going to see when whatever's in the game. This is awesome, and I want to keep this. Now, this other stuff over here is really ugly, so I want to take project, and I'm going to move project down to here, okay? I'm going to move my inspector over a bit, probably to about there. And now what we have is 3 panels. And these 3 panels, or I should say 3 columns, this is for your game. This is kind of your hierarchy in your project. And then this is the inspector. Now, what we can do here is I don't like having folders here. I would rather everything be listed, right? So if we click on sprites, everything's here. You can still click this and it'll show you all of your sprites. What I like to do is I like to grab this little slider here and move them down to their smallest point. Now, what this does is it really lets you list them out. You can see the titles of them. You don't get that nifty thing whenever you're clicking on your arrows. You know what I mean? It doesn't show you the actual assets. So you can obviously leave it like this if you like it. For me, it's a lot easier to do this. I know what these assets are, and you can name them accordingly if you need to. So just keep that in mind. So whenever it comes to selecting all of these, like let's say that we wanted to change a certain setting on all of these, and say it's the sprite mode, right? Sprite mode is very common for you to change. There's a couple ways that we can do this. First, we can hold shift and then click the up arrow and it'll start selecting more. Like this, same thing, selecting down, we'll deselect them. And of course, if you start at the top, you hold shift and then start going down and you can select all of them. And then if we come over here and we change from multiple to single for whatever reason, it would change all of them. I'm not going to do that because all of these are actually multiple sprites within one PNG sheet. So I'm going to leave mine how they are. The other way to do this would be to kind of just click in this area and then you can just hold Control A and it will select all of them for you also. And this will give you access to change everything at one time too. I also want to quickly show you how to add folders and make sure that things are organized how you would like them to be organized. Let me show you what I mean. So as you can see, this asset folder right here is the parent folder of scenes, settings, and sprites. What that means is that assets contains all 3 of these other folders. If I close it, you don't see any of them. If I open it, you see all 3 of them. Okay, so that's just kind of how things cascade whenever you're coding. So assets contains all of these. So if we want to create a new folder, all we have to do here is we can click in here, right click, create folder. And you can name your folder, hello world. If I hit enter, it will add. Now the reason why it is a hollow folder, if you will, as opposed to being filled in like these other ones is because there is absolutely nothing in here. So that's pretty common. Now, if I decided, hey, well, I don't actually want Hello World to be within assets, I meant for it to be within sprites, you can drag it into sprites. And now, as you can see, it drops down again, and now you have Hello World into sprites. You can also move this as much as you want so that you can see all of your stuff. So for the time being, I'm going to quickly delete this folder. Okay, and then the last thing that I will show you, something that's kind of cool, is whenever you select this, you have this massive panel over here. So if we come over here, you'll see spreadsheet underscore wood. Now what we can do is we can click this to expand it, and we can drag it more so that it kind of takes up some space. And now if we kind of switch over, we can see all of our different assets. We kind of get a preview over here of each of them. And as you can see in this one, so like you can actually see which assets have been selected. So you can see this one, and this one have all been selected, as well as another one down here. And to give you a better look at that, if I open my editor, you can see that these are the ones that have been selected here, 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 and here. So it's even selected on the sample here. The last thing I'm going to show you how to do is I'm going to help you clean up your file here. So yes, you have your assets, you're seeing all this stuff, but you don't really need to see packages, right? So all you have to do, if you come over here to where it says there's an I and it says 26, if you click that, it'll hide those packages for you, and it'll just keep those important things at the forefront so that you're not bombarded by a million packages. Because if you accidentally scroll down to here and you look over and you're like, oh no, I don't know what any of this stuff is. What is JetBrains Ride? You don't know that stuff. So instead, it's easier to just collapse it. And it says the folder's empty. Just remember, all you have to do is click this and it'll show you the packages again. But that's just something that I found that helps quite a bit. So this layout that we're looking at here, I think this is probably the perfect layout for anybody who is new to doing Unity. And full disclosure, I got the majority of this layout from a different channel that I will link in the description down below this video. His name is Sasquatch B Studios. And he is the person who I am watching for my Angry Birds tutorial when I'm just getting started. He didn't cover a number of things that I covered in this video that I ended up finding out myself, and it took me a little bit longer than I would like to do that. So I wanted to make a quick video going over the simple pieces of this kind of layout. Obviously, he talks about how to do the 2x3, and then I think he moves his projects down here, and I think he creates this, but he doesn't show you how to go from this to this. He doesn't talk about hiding the packages and things of that nature. So there's a couple more pieces that I wanted to add in here that I found were just kind of good quality of life changes. So whenever you start Unity up, every time it'll start looking like this. And in my opinion, this is a much better view than the default, which if we have to go back to it, is something like this. So there's just a lot more going on. Obviously, you can size things up similar to what we were doing. You can change this over to this and, pull this in and do whatever you want here too. But in my opinion, the split 2x3, how we have it set up, is a much better way of going about doing this. Guys, if you found this video helpful and you want to follow along with my journey at learning Unity as a fresh developer, as a fresh game developer, please subscribe to the channel. And definitely like the video. It helps the video get shown more in the algorithm. And of course, any questions or comments you guys have, I would love to read all of them and reply to each of you guys. Thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next video.